Whoa, that's weird. Oh God. Camera here, camera there. Okay, it's here. Me. You can't hear me, can you? Okay, I just unmuted myself. I've got three people in here, it looks like. If you're in here, can you put something in the chat? I guess it'd be the Q&A, not the chat on the Zoom part. I'm going to give it a little bit more time. It's 3:56 Pacific right now, so give it a little bit of so that other people can join on time. I'm just getting set up on my end over here. On the Zoom call, Tyler, if you can hear me, can you please put something in the chat? Can you guys hear me okay? Testing, testing. Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me on the Zoom? Oh, thanks, Karen. Okay. And it looked like I got some kind of reaction on the Zoom side, but I missed it because I was looking at the YouTube side. All right, it is 4 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm hoping the Zoom side can hear me too. I know that the YouTube side can hear me, so that's great because last time you couldn't. But yeah, that's good. But I don't know if the Zoom side can hear me, so I'm a little concerned about that. I'm going to ask them one more time before I start. Okay, I'm not getting anything from the Zoom side. Okay, let me check my text. Okay, perfect. Okay, sounds like you guys can hear me on the Zoom. That's great. It says the chat is disabled on the Zoom for some reason. But on the Zoom, if you can use the Q&A, you can use that instead of the chat. I thought the chat was enabled, but I guess it's not. So you can use the Q&A. And also I have a little cough, so I have a cough drop in, so excuse that. Excuse me, but we're going to get through this anyway. So let me go ahead and get my slides up then. And, oh, one second, one second. Okay, got it. And share my screen. No, that one. All right. So if you can see my slides, give me a yes in the chat if you can see my slides now. Looks like on the YouTube side, you can't, if there's like a little lag, so you can't see them yet. But on the Zoom side, you should be able to see my slides now. Uh-oh, that was not what I wanted. Hold on. Try this one more time. Okay. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there now. Present. Got it. Okay. Share. Frame two. Boom. All right, so here we are. It is 4:04 in the afternoon here in California, and I'm so glad you guys made it. Last week we were supposed to have this live, and I had every technical difficulty you can think of with YouTube Live, so I decided to get a Zoom account, set up the Zoom, and try it again using Zoom. So hopefully you all can see my slides now and you can hear me good. So I am Katrina, and this is a live masterclass on how to 10x your rental income with co-living. So first of all, you've been to those master classes and those webinars where you're half listening because you're waiting for the pitch to come. So I don't really have a pitch. I'm really just going to go through the steps, the 6 steps in my system, which is Group Home on Autopilot, the six steps that it takes to get you from A to Z, from not having a house to having an open and operating group home. The only call to action and pitch that I have today is that if anything in this presentation resonates with you, then I'll just ask you to book a call with me because I do one-on-one coaching with people. But other than that, this is just like low key. I'm just, I just announced it yesterday. So I'm just going live and I'm going to talk about how to open up your group home because I have 3 of them in Texas while I live in California. So we can all sit back and relax and breathe because there is no pitch in this. So there's none of that awkward stuff. Also, because I have Zoom going and YouTube going and the slides going, I might miss some comments and questions. So I'm going to try to throughout switch screens and look at what's going on in the comments and the questions. All right, so let's get going. Let's see. So first, before I even go on to the next slide, I want to talk about, excuse me, what is co-living? So some people call co-living a group home. And a lot of people, though, think when they think of a group home, they think of children, like an orphanage or something like that, or like foster kids. But what I'm talking about today is group homes for adults. So it's independent co-living for adults. So it's adults who share the same house, they share the common areas, and they either share a bedroom or they have a private room within that residential house. And so because you're renting out the house by the room or by the bed, there's a lot more opportunity to make money on the rental property. And I'm going to show you later on in the slides the difference between the income potential of just a regular single family home versus renting out a home by the bed. It really is 10x the income, and you'll see that. So in the independent co-living model, you're not providing any services. You may have heard of assisted living. Assisted living is where people rent the rooms or they rent a bed in a room, but there are services provided to them. So there's their help with activities of daily living. So when I took the Texas Certified Assisted Living Manager course, I learned about ADLs, which is activities of daily living. Once you start providing help with activities of daily living, like toileting or bathing or feeding or medication management, that requires certification. So that's assisted living. That is not a group home. That's assisted living. And because there are laws that govern, how to provide those services for the safety of the patient. And that's the thing. Assisted living has patients. Group homes have residents or tenants. I like to say residents instead of tenants, even though all of my residents sign an actual lease. I like to call them residents so they have it in their mind that this is a place where they can be put out immediately if they break the rules. So for people who do need assistance with ADLs, with activities of daily living, I still can house those people. It's just that the help that they need doesn't come from me. I don't provide the services. So it might be provided through a third party. And that's where the home health organizations come in and that type of thing. So again, like medication management, feeding, nursing, and all that kind of stuff, I don't provide any of that. If they do need that kind of help, but they can't afford to live in assisted living because assisted living is thousands of dollars, then they could still live with me. But sometimes they have what's called provider hours. And that's when a family member or a friend of theirs or somebody else comes over and helps them. They help them with their laundry or with their bathing, for a few hours. And sometimes that's covered by their insurance. So like I said, with co-living, you earn 10 times the amount of a regular rental. So today, the things I'm going to cover the opportunity and the growth of co-living, the profit potential, and how to open up a group home in 6 steps. And then I'm also going to go into how to open a group home in 6 weeks. which brings you to my program, my coaching program, and then I'll take some Q&A. So before we keep going, let me just double check the chat and see if anyone has said anything. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you're still with me. Put a 1 in the chat if you're still with me. Put a 1 in the Q&A if you're on Zoom and you're still with me. Put a 1 in the Q&A. All right, thank you. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that. So Tyler, can you, okay, good. Thank you, Toya. Thank you for, this is my first thing I've gotten on Zoom. So now I know that y'all are out there and y'all can hear me because I've been talking for a minute. Thank you, Tamika. Okay, cool. Let me move on. Yay, I haven't been talking to myself this whole time. Okay. Can you see the next, so you cannot see the next slide. This is weird. That's weird. All right, I'm gonna have to do it like this. Okay. So this slide is talking about the opportunity. So I'm going to talk about the outlook on the business. So this one, I am going to read some stats to you, why co-living is poised for massive growth. So the first one, the aging baby boomer population. So 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every single day. And that is a trend that's going to continue through 2030. So 1 in 5 Americans is going to be 65 or older by 2030. That's crazy. 1 in 5 Americans is going to be 65 or older by 2030. So a lot of those people are going to need supportive housing. So that assisted living that I was just talking about, where they provide services and help with the ADLs, the activities of daily living, they're going to need that kind of help. But not all of them are going to need that much support. They're not all going to need that full scale assisted living. And not everybody has that money for a nursing home or that $5,000 a month for an assisted living facility. Many of these people just need this like safe, stable, shared living space. And that's where my group homes come in. That's where the demand is for people who just, maybe they need more companionship. They'd like to not live alone. Maybe they just need a tiny bit of help. Somebody say, hey man, did you take a shower today? That kind of thing. That's the type of people who I have in my houses. They don't need help with taking a shower. They don't need help with making their own food or anything like that, but they thrive in a community environment. Okay, number 2, the housing affordability crisis. So we all know it's really, really expensive to live right now, and rents and the home prices are just going up. And shared housing sometimes is the only affordable option for a lot of low income people. Even working professionals, some of them can't afford their own place. Okay, here's another stat for you. So 55% of low income renters spend more than 30% of their income on housing. 55% of low income renters spend more than 30% of their income on housing. That's crazy. And so shared housing really isn't just about more income for you or for me. It's really solving that housing problem, because cities need this model. Cities need a place where people can live, where they can afford to live. Okay, let's go to number 3. So decline in private room supply. So new construction really favors luxury and large single family homes, not affordable shared housing. So as private housing costs rise, room rentals and co-living, that offers this scalable solution. And landlords who pivot to this model can really benefit big. And like I said, assisted living costs like $4,500 on average, to, depending on the state, to like $6,000 a month, and even more depending on the state. It could be like $10,000 a month, I think, in New York. And that prices out a lot of people who need assisted living. But maybe what they can do is live in a place like what I have, and just have those few provider hours and have somebody come over to help them a little bit with a few little things. And then social isolation and mental health. I can't read today. Okay, social isolation and mental health. So adults with mental health challenges, little disabilities, or substance recovery needs, they often thrive in these structured environments where it's like shared living, because those kind of people, they don't need to be left alone and left to their own devices. They do better and they thrive when they're around other people. So group homes like mine give them this community and not just a roof over their head. So here's another stat for you. So 1 in 4 adults in the US lives with a disability or a mental health condition. So when you combine these aging demographics, all the housing shortages, the affordability issues, and then the shifting preferences, co-living and independent group homes are not just this trend, it's something that is going to keep growing in the future. So that's why this is a great business opportunity to get into right now. Okay, this is my favorite part. I like to look at the profit potential. So the house on the left, this is a regular, typical single family rental. And by the way, when you have questions, just go ahead and put them in the Q&A because I can always go back to them. They're not going to disappear. So on the Zoom, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and put it in there and I can circle back to it when I take a break. I can look and see. Okay, single family rental. So let's say on the left, we have this single family rental. And I used to have a few single family rentals, and then I moved over to the group home model. But I had a single family rental, and some of you have heard the podcast I've been on and stuff where I always tell this story. But a single family rental that I was renting out, it was a 4-bedroom, renting it out for $2,000 a month. And my mortgage on that house was $1,800 a month. So I was pocketing $200 a month. Everybody sees that. Everybody sees that math, right? Okay. Now let's compare that model to a co-living rental, the same house, the same 4-bedroom house. Let's take a look at what that would look like. Okay, so you take that same 4-bedroom house, and if you put 2 beds in each room, so that's 8 beds, right? 8 beds. And let's say you charge $500 a month for each bed. So that's shared rooms in a 4-bedroom house. If you're tracking, give me a tracking. I don't know why the chat's not working on the Zoom, but if you're tracking, can you give me a tracking? Put a tracking in the chat. Put tracking in the chat if you're tracking. So $500 a month per bed. So that brings you, nobody's tracking? Okay, thank you. Okay, I want to also make sure I'm not just talking to myself like I was last week. So that gives you gross $4,000. So $4,000, and now subtract the 1,800. Thank you. Subtract the 1,800 that I was paying for the mortgage. That leaves you 2,200. So if I was making $200 before profit, and now I'm making $2,200, what is that? What is that? Somebody tell me, what is that? That's 10x. That's 10x. Thank you. That's 10x. So if I was making $200 a month before, and now I'm making 2,000, it's actually more than 10x. I'm making $2,000 a month. That's 10 times. That's 10 times the profit that I'm making on that same house by doing the group home model, by doing this model. It's the same house. Yes, I'm stopping to take sips because we're having a casual conversation. So that was $500. That was $500. Let's say that's old. That's old prices, by the way, because nowadays you shouldn't be charging $500 per bed. You should be charging more than that. So if you're charging 600, what is that? If you're charging 600, wait, did I just go too far? I went to 650. If you're charging 600 a month, how much would you be making? I don't know why it won't let me go back. Somebody tell me, how much would you be making if you're charging $600 per bed? Won't let me go back one. How much would you be making if you're charging 600 per bed and there's 8 beds? Nobody wants to play. Nobody wants to play along. Thank you. Thank you. 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. You'd be making $3,000 a month. Okay. So now let's say you're charging 650, which you can't. You can charge 650. You could charge 700. It depends on where you are. It depends on your market, depends on where you are. You can charge a lot per bed. Okay. So 650, now you're making 3,400. Again, that's two beds in each room of the 4 rooms. But wait, Katrina, didn't you say that we are going to cover? Oh, who's that? Wait, okay, 4,800. Who said? Wait, 4,800 was how? What was that, Tom? 4,800 was for what? Oh, yeah, 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 the $600. Thank you, thank you. You're right. You're right. Okay, and then if you're charging 650, the gross is 5,200. So you see how you can make a whole lot more money, more than 10x, more than 10x. So, but wait, Katrina, didn't you say that when you have this independent living group home, it's all inclusive? Or did I even say that? It's all inclusive. So when the people come and they rent a bed from me, their monthly rent includes the utilities. So it includes the internet, water, and electric. So yes, water, electric, gas, internet, that all is included in their monthly rent. But even if you deduct the cost of utilities, you are still bringing in 10x the amount of a regular single family home. When I opened my first house, it had 15 beds. Now, since then, I have removed some of the beds because it was a little bit too close for comfort in a couple of the rooms. So I removed a couple of the beds, and now it's 12 beds. But when I opened my first house, it was 15 beds. And I started out charging $560 a month per bed. $560 a month times 15 equals, does somebody have a calculator? Does somebody have a calculator out? 15 times $560 a month equals what? And my mortgage was $2,000. So somebody put it in the chat. It's like $8,000. Somebody play with me. Thank you. 8,400. Who is that? Tyler. I can always depend on Tyler. It was 8,400 and my mortgage was 2,000. So take 2,000 away from 8,400 and then deduct another 1,000 for the utilities, and I'm still profiting over $5,000 a month. Profiting $5,000 a month. That's on one property. That's not on a job. That's on one property. So who likes that? Is that resonating with anyone? Is anybody like, oh, that's what happened to me with my first house? I was like, wow. Wow. Nobody. Okay, that's fine. We can still keep going. So you might not want the headache of dealing with all that many people's issues. And I get it. I didn't want the headache either. So that's why I now outsource my headache. And outsourcing comes in the last step. When I'm going to go into the 6 steps on how to open your group home. So I hope you guys have your notebooks out and a pen. I'm going to go through how to open your group home. What I teach you in this masterclass, you are going to be able to open your group home. Oh, thank you, Toya. You're unable to post. I wish, next time I am going to fix it for next week because I'm going to go live every week now, I think, because I need to capture some people. So, yeah, I'm going to fix that so you guys can post some comments. So I'll just keep pretending that y'all are talking back to me. Thank you. All right. So anyway, I'm going to give you 6 steps to open up your group home. And with what I give you today, you can open your group home. But I will also show you the reason why it's good to get help. It's good to get mentorship. So yeah, that outsourcing my headache, that comes in step 6. So I'm going to show you how to find and hire your operations manager. And the operations manager gets a cut of the money, but you're still making a lot of money. And also, I foresee a lot more working people, working class people moving into co-living just as a way to reduce their living costs because things are just too expensive nowadays. And when you're marketing to working class people, you can charge more too. They probably won't want to share a bedroom, but maybe they will pay $1,000 for a private room that includes utilities. It depends on where you are in the country on how much you can charge. All right. So why should you even listen to me? I'm Katrina. Hi, everybody. I have a company called Roundtable Living. I have three houses in San Antonio, Texas, three group homes. And I live in California. I live in Los Angeles, California. And so people started asking me how I run three group homes when I live in California and my group homes are in Texas. So I started telling people how I run my group homes. And then more and more people started asking me questions. So now I started Group Home on Autopilot, which is my coaching program, and I help people to start and run their own group homes so that they can create this profitable but also purpose-driven business without getting overwhelmed by the process. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. About 5 years ago, I was looking for a side hustle that would bring me the most bang for my buck. I wanted the most profit with the least amount of work. I'm used to hard work. I was in the military for 6 years. I've been to Iraq. I've seen the world. I just wanted to live my life in California. I did not want to do a whole lot more work, and I wanted to just relax but bring in money. I'm okay with doing work. I'm kind of a workaholic, but I wanted something that was exciting, but also brings in money. So I decided assisted living was what I was going to do. So I went to this in-person assisted living training in Arizona, and it was awesome. It was the Residential Assisted Living Academy. It was amazing training. I was fired up. So back then, I think it was like $4,000 to go. So I went and I loved it, and I learned a ton. And then I found out that I also needed to become certified. I needed to get a certification and be a certified assisted living manager for my state. And I decided that where I was going to open was Texas because I'd been stationed in Texas twice. I was stationed at Lackland Air Force Base and at Randolph Air Force Base. So I was very familiar with Texas. I was familiar with San Antonio. And also the cost of houses in Texas is so low versus California. And Texas is more landlord friendly versus California is more tenant friendly. So I just knew I was going to open in Texas. So I went through the Texas Assisted Living Managers course and I became a certified assisted living manager for Texas. Then I decided that, you know what, I want to buy a place, an assisted living place that's already existing. I want to buy one that's already out there and that has an operator that maybe lives on site. So I went on this website, Biz Buy Sell, and they sell businesses. They're already together. These are businesses that you can just buy from the person who owns the business. And I actually found an assisted living. It wasn't even in Texas, so I didn't need to get certified in Texas. It was in Arizona. So I was going to buy this assisted living place in Arizona. It's very small, only a 5-bed place. And I was this close to signing the contract when I lost my sister. My sister passed away. I got custody of her two children. And at that point, I just didn't want the responsibility of having an assisted living house because of the medication management. And you have to have a caregiver and just all of that inspections and all that stuff. It was just too much. And I didn't want to end up on the news. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull out of this deal. So I pulled out. And I was really upset over it. I was devastated. But I talked to one of my friends who I met at the Assisted Living Academy, and she told me about independent living. She's like, why don't you just do independent living? I had never heard of that before. And when I think unlicensed, I think illegal. And in this case, unlicensed group homes are not illegal. They just don't require a license. So I took a course on how to open an unlicensed group home. And so that's what I did. I took the course on how to open an unlicensed group home and I bought a property in Texas. It was a complete fixer. It was a fixer upper. It could have been, should have been a complete tear down, but it was humongous. It was 5 bedrooms. And two of the five rooms were the size of two rooms each. So I cashed out my retirement plan. I renovated the house and I opened up my first unlicensed, independent, co living group home. So now I had this new confidence, and now I felt like instead of using my money to have somebody else bet on it in a retirement fund, I felt like now I was betting on me. Even though it's unpopular to take out your money from a retirement plan, I really knew that I could do better with my money if I invested it in independent living. I knew that my money would make more money for me, and that was my retirement plan. So anyway, that was way longer than I meant to talk about myself, but I didn't even go over the bullets. So I do have three group homes in Texas, and I started a group home on autopilot. And I have been investing in real estate for more than 20 years. And I've also been in the Air Force, and I have 20 plus years of federal government experience in management operations. Okay, I've been talking a long time, so I'm going to look at the chat in YouTube, see if anything's there. Oh, excuse me. Nope. Okay. All right. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you now. So you're on this call for a reason. You also are probably ready to bet on you. So why? Why do you want to go in? Why are you interested in this? Why are you interested in independent living? Why are you interested in co-living group homes, whatever you want to call it? Maybe it's because you want more money. Maybe is there more month left at the end of the month than money? You want more time freedom, more family time. Maybe you want to make a difference in the affordable housing crisis. Do you want financial security for you and your family? Like what is your reason? Do you want to leave a legacy for your family? Maybe you just want the tax benefits of having a legit business. That's good too. And maybe you want to enjoy your work. I know I want to enjoy my work, and I kind of like the group homes, even though sometimes it can get a little grimy. Like I like it. I love group homes. Maybe you already have a side hustle, but it's too hands-on for you. Maybe the autopilot part is what is really interesting to you. You want to learn how to put all these systems in place so you don't have to do that much work. Maybe you already have a rental property that's bringing in that little $200 a month, that measly little $200 a month. So take a minute. I want you to take a minute and think about the vision you have for your life. What vision do you have for your life 1 year from now? Really take a minute and think about it. What about 3 years from now? And what about 5 years from now? And how would an extra $2,000 a month help you to achieve that vision? That's one house. My coaching clients get $2,000 a month minimum on their houses. And I'm talking about net profit, $2,000 a month, because we work through the numbers to make sure it works out. So $2,000 a month net, how would that change your life? And that's on one house. And with what I teach you in my coaching program, you will have more than one house, because once you get through all the bumps and the bruises of opening that first house, now you already have a system in place, and now it's just plug and play. Now you want to open a second one and a third one. So it's just like 2,000, 4,000, 6,000. You're just gonna, it's just money. It's just money, 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 money. I gotta fix the chat so that I can see what people are saying. Maybe y'all are just thinking. That's fine. Just think about it. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Here's what you came for. These are the 6 steps. Get out your pen. Get out your notebook. This is what you came here for. This is my proven system. I don't even think that wait, you two people, let me make sure you guys can still see the slides. Okay, there's just a lag. There's a lag on YouTube, and that's fine. Oh, okay. So since there's a lag on YouTube, comments are now coming in. This process easier. Yes. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Yes. He knows what it's like not to have housing. So although my parents, we had money and everything, once I got to college, it was like, psh, bye. And I slept on the floor for a long time. I worked at Walmart and I was cutting fabric. And there was this lady who would come in all the time and ask me to cut her fabric for her. And she told me I looked so tired one time. And I was like, I don't have a bed. I just came out with it. I was so tired because I was working at Compact Computers. Yeah, there's a delay, Tom. I was working at Compact Computers overnight. That tells you how old I am. Compact Computers does not exist, but I was working at Compact and I was putting the motherboard in the computer, 12-hour shifts. And then I was working at Walmart as well, and I was cutting fabric. And I did not have a bed. I was so tired. So anyway, we've been through some hard times, and that's why we people who've been through hard times, we do well with entrepreneurship because once you've been on like rock bottom, you've been on the bottom, there's only up. There's only up from there. Like I can take risks because I'm not afraid to sleep on a floor. I can take risks because I know what it's like to have one pack of ramen, and that ramen was 19 cents at Walmart, I remember. And I know what it's like to have a pack of ramen for breakfast, lunch, dinner. That was my one pack. That was my meals for the entire. Oh, Karen, okay, compact. Yeah, that was my meals for the entire 24-hour period. Was that one pack of ramen? It looks like YouTube is catching up now. Yeah, Karen, I wonder if we were on the same line. I was on the assembly line putting the motherboards in the computer. Anyway, I'm having fun with y'all, even though I can't hear you. So this is my proven system. Oh, on YouTube, you know what I wanted to check and see? I think on Zoom you could see me and the slides. Oh yeah, yeah, you can. You can see me and the slides on YouTube. Okay, good, good, good. I just want to make sure. All right. So this is my group home on autopilot system. And this is my proven system to open and operate a profitable group home. And how do I know this works? I know it works because I've used this exact model to open my 3 group homes in Texas. So on this next slide, I'm going to show you my client, Kenya. She had an open house. She was one of my coaching clients, and I'm very proud of her. She signed the lease on her property. And that's the other thing. You do not have to own a house to do this. You can rent a house and do this. You do not need to own a house. So she signed the lease on her rental property to do this. And it was during week 3 or week 4 of our coaching program. And then she had her open house during week 6 of my coaching program. So I am going to go to the next slide. And I know there is a delay, but I'm going to go to the next slide and play the little video of her open house. Uh-oh. Hold up, hold up. I got to click it over here. There we go. All right, I'm going to wait until the YouTube catches up before I move on. Okay. Let's go back down to my comments. Yay. Yes, yes, yes. Clap, clap, clap. So Kenya, like I said, she was my coaching client. We went from A to Z. Kenya had not taken any other kind of group home training before. I think she found me on YouTube and we started working together one on one. I love to work one on one with my coaching clients. And I connected her. Like, was she? Did you, Kenya? Did you use the lady who I connected you with, or you just found your own place? I think you found your own place, but I do have somebody in my network who I will connect my coaching clients with to get you a property. This company that I know of can find willing landlords and put you together to give you a place to run this business. And anyway, she found her own place, I believe. I'm going to wait for YouTube to catch up because there is a lag. Okay. Kenya, feel free to get in the chat there. Somebody's asking how many bedrooms and how many baths. Okay, she found it on her own. She found it on her own. But in my coaching program, I do connect you with someone who can find you a place. But Kenya is go-getter. Kenya went out and found the landlords. I do give you a script to use to reach out to landlords. But again, that is a rental property. That's a rental property. So you do not have to own. Yeah, she got a massive house, which I love. My first house was massive too. 7 bedrooms and 4 baths in Kenya's house. So that's going to be making her some money. And that's actually going to change the trajectory of her family. That's going to leave a legacy now that she's going to be having this business that's making all this money. You do not have to own the house to do this. All right, so let's go into the first step. The first step on how to open your group home, the 6 steps, is mindset. You need positivity, you need determination, and you need to have a CEO mindset. And you need to have a strategic, what does this slide say? Strategic, decisive, and goal growth oriented. You need to be goal oriented too, but you need to be growth oriented. This is like using a calendar. This is using a calendar, outsourcing things that you don't need to do on your own. This is being obsessed with whatever your win is. Whatever success looks like to you, define it and become obsessed with it. That's what that is. And thinking to yourself, who can do that for me? Like, how can I pay for a shortcut? That's what that CEO mindset is. It's about setting up systems and not reinventing the wheel. Like with every task I do, I ask myself, okay, how can I never do that again? How can I never do that again? Or how can I make it easier for me to do for the next time? That's a CEO mindset. So that's step 1, mindset. Let's go on to step 2. Uh-oh, I think I skipped. Oops, stop. I don't know why I don't like to go backwards. This is crazy. Go back. Okay. Hmm. Mouse. That's not what I wanted. Have you guys been looking at the wrong the wrong slides this whole time? Okay, we talked about that. Okay, here we go. Slide 2, the business. Okay, setting up the business. So this is the market research, the legal stuff, tracking your expenses, keeping a census of like who's in the house and who's not in the house, and your business plan. You don't have to set up an LLC for this business. You're really just a landlord because we're not providing any services. Remember, we're not providing any services. So you're really just essentially a landlord. But I want you to set up your business right. If you're a client of mine, I want you to have a legit business, because when you get that LLC, now you're legit, and now you can take advantage of business tax breaks. So that's why I want you to get a lawyer. Or there's all these companies out there. I see commercials for them all the time on YouTube where they can set up your business for you. I also have a lawyer that I can refer you to who can set up your business for you. I always tell you on every step of the way of the 6 steps, I tell you how to pay for a shortcut. And remember that the biggest tax breaks and deductions aren't for employees. The biggest tax breaks are for business owners. That's how you get the tax breaks. That's what all the rich people do. They start a business so they can get these business tax breaks. When you set up your business the right way, you can write off everything. You can write off your phone, your equipment. Even when I travel from California to Texas to check on my houses, that whole trip is a write-off. So like the Lyft ride to the airport, the flight, the hotel, I usually stay at my parents' house, but the hotel, like the whole trip is a tax deduction. You can start deducting expenses that you've already paid for, stuff that you're already paying for. Like, for example, I need internet to run my business. So my house has internet. So the house internet is a tax deduction. Now you wait, let me go to oh, okay, I saw something pop up. Kenya said, "Thank you for mentoring me." Thank you, Kenya. You're awesome. You were the ideal client. Thank you. And I hope is Janice on? Because I hope Janice is on. She's awesome too. I don't know why it says that there's only one person watching, but then I see new names in the chat. It's one watching on YouTube. But anyway, hi Jetta. Um, so anyhow, we're talking about business tax deductions. I am not a tax professional. I have to say that I am not a tax professional, but I can tell you from my experience that I have been able to deduct a whole lot of things because I have a legit business. So instead of just being some janky landlord, yeah, I rent out rooms, but no, actually make it a business, like set up an LLC so that you can take advantage of tax breaks. And then also, you can qualify for 100% depreciation on things like computers and cars. So that's something that you have to do your own research on. Like I said, I am not a tax professional, but there's a lot of things that you can do with the taxes. And then also that big beautiful bill, remember that? It's been in the news. There's a lot more opportunities for business owners to save on taxes because of that bill too. So, learn all the rules so you know how to play the game. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's go on to the next line. All right, part three, number three. So we're on step 3 of 6. So we already talked about number 1 was mindset. Number 2 is set up the business the right way legally. And then number 3 is getting the house. So getting the house, you want to identify viable properties. So what kind of house is good for this? That's what people always ask me. What kind of house is good for a group home? Here's where you need to write it down. Put in your I can't type in the chat on Zoom for some reason, but I'm just going to tell you this. And this is free anyway, so you write it down. Write it down. So at least 4 bedrooms. I want you to have at least 4 bedrooms. You can do this with 3 bedrooms, but the profit is tight. The profit margin is tight, tight, tight. My last house is 3 bedrooms, and I need to turn that into an assisted living because the profit is little. So at least 4 bedrooms. If you own the house and you're able to put up a wall somewhere and make another bedroom, that's great. That's great. If you can put up a wall and make another bedroom, that's great. But at least 4 bedrooms. I also say no carpet. No carpet because people just make mistakes. People spill stuff all the time. People aren't as clean as you might be. You're going to get people from all over. So just no carpet. It's just easier to clean. Also, no HOA, no homeowners association, no HOA. And the thing is, it is legal. It is legal to have multiple people who are unrelated under one roof, but HOAs will just give you a hard time. And group homes are protected. They're protected by the Fair Housing Act, specifically Title 8 of the Fair Housing Act, the Civil Rights Act of 1968. So the Fair Housing Act, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 covers group homes because it covers, all types of familial relationships under one roof. It covers age, disability, race. It covers so many things. And I guarantee you everybody who lives in your group home will fall under one of those. It even covers addictions and things like that. So you will win. If you go to court, you will win, but you don't want to go to court. You don't want to go through that. So just don't deal with the HOA. Don't have a group home in a place that has an HOA. Anybody heard of NIMBY, NIMBY? NIMBY. NIMBY. I can't even do the put it in the chat thing because there's a delay, but NIMBY is not in my backyard. Not in my backyard. That's what a lot of these communities that have HOAs, they're like not in my backyard. I don't want that type of thing in my backyard. So just avoid it. So no carpet, at least 4 bedrooms, no HOA. That's the type of house that you want. I like to get my houses in like a B minus C. Actually, I would go down to like a C minus neighborhood. Like you're looking at like the grading scale, like an A neighborhood, A plus neighborhood, B neighborhood. I would do like a C minus, do like a between like a B minus and like a C minus type neighborhood. That's where you want to have your group home because the rent will be cheaper. Nobody's going to give you a hard time about anything. And usually those are pretty big houses. They're like big older houses. And if it is an older house, just make sure that it doesn't have any major plumbing problems or roof problems. So to get the house, you also contact landlords. I have a script. That's the shortcut is really just to get me to coach you. That's the shortcut. But anyway, contact landlords. I have a script. Get the house, set up the house. That's also part of the step 3, setting up the house. And you don't have to furnish it all at once. You could furnish one room and you could furnish the common areas. Take you some pictures, send it out to caseworkers and say, hey, and that's actually coming up on step 4 is the marketing part. But anyway, that's what you're going to do. You're going to set up your house, get it going. Okay, let's go on to the next step. But before I move, let me take a look at the questions. Let's take a look at the questions. Oh, I missed some. Yeah, Toya said it's a lot of red tape around license. The process is very lengthy. Yes, it is. So my mother actually owned an assisted living facility in San Antonio, and my mom works so hard. She was there all the time. She's a nurse, so she would do the medication management. She had a cook on staff. If somebody called in sick, she was there 24/7. My mom was there all the time, but she would get inspected all the time. It took a while for her to get the license because like the fire department has to come over and check your sprinklers. And then there's all these different organizations that have to come over and look. And then they have these unannounced inspections. They have the announced inspections. There's just so much going on with that. You have to have the meals up on the wall. And I'm not against assisted living. I want an assisted living facility once I feel like I can dedicate that amount of bandwidth mentally to it. I want to do that. But right now, I just want to relax. I love my group homes. Yes, it's much less money than assisted living, much less money, but I'm good with that. I just want to live a nice life. I'm happy with my group homes. Yes, and I want to work smarter and not harder. Thank you. Same. If somebody else has done it, then that's what I want to do. Like if you already know how to do it, give me the plan. Just give me the blueprint. I'm gonna follow that. That's how I feel. Okay, let me go to comments on YouTube now. Okay, nothing new there. Okay, good. Now we can move on. Move on to step 4. Step 4 is marketing. Step 4 is marketing. Now, this is the most important step. Marketing is the most important step because if you don't have beds full, then you don't have a business. If you don't have income coming in, you don't have a business. So for marketing, you're going to connect with caseworkers, placement agents, and people who need housing. Connect with caseworkers, placement agents, and people who need housing. That could be anybody. That could be anywhere. Churches sometimes know of people who need housing. Who else? These like social services type places, the Social Security office. There's so many places that know of people who need housing, but especially caseworkers. Caseworkers are the type of people that always know of somebody who needs housing. Placement agents are people that you can pay to put people in your beds. And that's also that's paying for a shortcut right there. You could just pay somebody. And usually they charge you the amount of the first month of rent. So if I've got a bed that's $700 a month, and a placement agent calls me and said, "Hey, I have somebody who's a good fit for your house," then I would say, "Okay, great, I'll take them." Then I owe that placement agent $700. But that person is going to live with me for it. My contracts are month to month, but you could do a year lease if you want to. I do month to month. But anyway, there's positives and negatives, and we can walk through that together too. But I owe them $700 one time. I owe the placement agent 700, but then that person is paying me $700 a month after that. So that's a way to pay for a shortcut to fill your beds. But you don't have to do that though, because there are a lot of ways to market. I have 101 ways that you can market to fill your beds. Okay, so for marketing materials, flyers, a website. It doesn't have to even be a full website, just like a landing page, flyers, business cards. Go to festivals and fairs that are around the city. And like for example, there was this Americans with Disabilities Act thing that happened. It was like a fair that is put on every year by this organization, San Antonio Independent Living Services. So I got in contact with them. I set up a table there at the fair, had my little round table living tablecloth on, had my flyers out and handed out flyers. And that's a way to get out into the community. So there are a lot of different ways to market. And then also, email is huge. So paying somebody for a list of caseworker emails, then put all of those emails into MailChimp and then schedule out emails to go out to all the caseworkers. That's another way to market. So do you think you could find 8 people in your chosen city who are willing to share a room? Because a lot of people say nobody's willing to share a room. Nobody, how are you going to get somebody to share a room? Nobody's going to share a room. Do you think realistically, in whatever city is your chosen city, that you can find 8 people? And I say 8 because I'm talking about a 4-bedroom house that has 2 beds in each room. So, do you think you can find 8 people in your chosen city who are willing to share a room and pay one all inclusive low rate for their monthly rent? Put it in the chat, yes or no. Do you think you can find 8 people? I'll wait because I know there's a delay. Put it in the Q&A if you're on Zoom. Do you think you can find 8 people? I don't know why this YouTube says only one person is watching, which is fine. If it's one person, that's great. I'm glad you're here, but I know it's more because I see people posting in the chat. So it's just weird. So we've covered 4 of the 6 steps. Wait, somebody just put something in this. Okay, good, good, good. Thank you for playing. Thank you for playing along. I appreciate it. And I'm glad I'm not talking to an empty room. All right, so we've covered 4 of the 6 steps, and I'm explaining at this very like surface level right now. I'm telling you these are the 6 steps, but somebody in this class wants to dive deeper. I know somebody wants to dive deeper, somebody wants more information. So before we move on to the last 2 steps, I know it's been almost an hour now, but I've been doing a lot of like, who can hear me? Okay, so before I move on to the last 2 steps, is it okay if I take a couple of minutes to share how I can serve you on a deeper level? Put a yes in the chat if it's okay if I just take 2 minutes to go over my coaching program. And it's not going to be a sales pitch, nothing like that. It's going to be, if this sounds good to you, book a call. Put a yes in the chat if that's okay with you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, uh-oh. This now again, this might not be for everybody, but it might be perfect for somebody who's in the room. So it's not for everybody, but it might be perfect for somebody. Wouldn't all of this stuff that I'm going over be easier if you had a mentor, if you had checklists, templates, somebody to hold you accountable, somebody to hold your hand, the phone a friend, like, hey, this is going on. What do I do? Somebody who's been there, done that, and still doing it. So imagine 6 weeks from now, you have this property business that profits $2,000 a month for you and your family. And that's profits $2,000 a month for you and your family. Also, you've got this business that's changing lives. This business is helping people. It's solving the affordable housing crisis and not putting people in these facilities, but they're living in a residential home, making them feel like legit members of society, real people with dignity. And also having more time and more energy for the things that matter most to you. You know, you can fire your day job. If you want to fire your day job, fire your day job. It's when I work with you, we talk about what your goals are, and I want to help you get to that. If you love your day job, keep your day job. If you don't and you want to fire it, I'm going to help you fire your day job. So my coaching program, it's Group Home on Autopilot Startup Intensive, and it is designed to change your life and change the lives of others in only 6 weeks. So here's my big invitation to you. Drum roll, here's the invitation. Book a call with me. I need to put it in the chat. Tyler, if you have the link, can you throw it in the chat? I need to put the link in the chat on how to book a call with me. So I help people to go from A to Z, from 0 to 2,000, from $0 to $2,000 a month in 6 weeks. Because you need a blueprint, you need a strategy, system, structure, accountability. So let's talk about accountability. So there was this study. There was a study by the American Society of Training and Development, and they said that if you write down your goals privately and you don't mention it to anyone, then you're not likely to reach your goal. But when you announce your goal to a coach or to a trusted friend, you are 65% more likely to achieve that goal. Now, when you give a progress report weekly to a coach or a friend, you are 95% more likely to achieve that goal. So that's why it is crucial to build the support system. So here's what you get. You're looking at it on the slide, what you get in the program. You get the startup workbook with the templates and the checklists and scripts, personalized accountability, feedback, strategy, direct access to somebody who has launched multiple group homes. And then you get the custom master to-do list that's built around your timeline and your goals. And you get lifetime access to the online course as well. So do you think it would benefit you to have this customized checklist with exactly how you can open your own profitable group home in only 6 weeks? And if I taught you how to profit $2,000 a month for the rest of your life, how much would that be worth to you? It's not rhetorical. You can put it in the chat. How much would that be worth to you? I'm just curious. Whatever you put in the chat, my program is less than that. If you could profit $2,000 for the rest of your life, $2,000 a month for the rest of your life, how much would that be worth? I guarantee you my program is less than what you're going to think. Okay, so let's move on to who the program is for. So here's who the program is for, and you can just hop on a call with me. Let me check the chat and make sure that, oh, he doesn't have it yet. He's going to put the link in there, and I can put the link in there too. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for putting that in there. And I am going to also put the link in the Zoom right now. So if you want to book a call, you can do that. Okay, so I will, if you hop on a call with me, that's the sales call. That's when I go over basically a very shortened version of what I've just been talking about for the past hour. And then I also tell you the price, and I have plans to payment plans too. So anyway, my calendar's up to date, so we can do that. Oh, before we move on though, let's play a game. Talk speaking of money and how much you think. Nobody even played with me. Nobody said how much they thought it would cost to get $2,000 a month for the rest of your life. Anyway, let's play a game. So would you give me $10? By the way, we're almost done. We're almost done. I know that it's taking a little bit, but I think I said it was going to be 2 hours long on Zoom. For YouTube, I just went live. I didn't even announce it to y'all, I don't think. So let's play this game. If you would you give me $10? Would you give me $10 if I was giving you back $100? Put a yes in the chat. Would you give me $10 if I was giving you back $100? Okay. Yeah, you would. Because that's a 900% return on investment. Would you give me $10,000 if I was giving you back $1 million? Would you give me 10,000 if I was going to give you back a million? Who would take that deal? Would you take that deal? Yeah, that is a 9,900% return on investment. 9,900% return on investment. Now, which one is the better deal? Which one is the better deal? That you give me $10 and I give you back 100, or you give me $10,000 and I give you back a million? Which one is the better deal? Which one's the better deal? Somebody crunching numbers out there? I told you what the ROI is. Yeah, the 10,000 for a million, that's the better deal. Is it still the better deal if you have to borrow the $10,000 from a friend? Is it still a better deal? Yes. Is it still a better deal? I'm answering because I can't take the lag anymore. Is it still a better deal if you have to put that 10,000 on a credit card? Yes, it's still a better deal, even with the interest. Is it still a better deal if you have to get that $10,000 at a really bad interest rate, like from a loan shark? Yes, it's still the better deal because you're getting this infinite return on your investment. It's still the better deal. So that's the game that millionaires play. That's the game that rich people play. They ask, what is the return? Whereas broke people ask, what is the price? Have you noticed that broke people know the price of everything? They know how much bread costs. They know how much everything costs. They know the price of everything, but they don't know the value of anything. Rich people know the value of everything and the price of nothing. So when you focus on the payout, you stay broke. When you focus on the payoff, that's when you get rich. So my program is not $10,000. So don't have a heart attack. It's not $10,000. But I just wanted to give you that little game. All right, real quick before we get right back into the steps, let's go over these false beliefs. So false belief: I need to own a home to have a group home. No, you don't need to own the house. Do you think that every doctor owns the building that she operates out of? No. You just have to find a willing landlord. Remember my client, Kenya? She does not own that house. In my network, like I said, I have this lady that specializes in finding properties and finding willing landlords just for group homes. Pay for a shortcut. Pay her to get you somebody who is willing to rent out their house to you. False belief: homeless people don't have income. A lot of my people get income from Social Security or VA. They have VA money or have Social Security. They just don't get enough money to have their own place. So they do get money. They just don't have enough to have their own place. So that's how they end up in a shelter. Plus, like I said, more regular people, not regular, I shouldn't say it, more professional people are going to consider co-living in the future. Also, like I said, when you're marketing to working class people, you can charge more. Let's see, running a group home will be a full-time job. Not the way I teach it. I focus on efficiencies and working on the business and not in the business. So I teach you how to pay for shortcuts. Plus, I've documented all my processes and I hand them over to you. So you'll have half of the work is done. And then I won't be able to fill the beds. So I teach you how to fill the beds. And remember my client, Kenya, she filled 5 of her 9 beds in 1 week. So now let's get back to the masterclass. Let me just double check the chat, make sure that nothing is in there. Okay, good. Let's get back to the class. Let's get back to the steps. We're almost done. We're on step 5 of 6. Okay, so we've talked about number 1, mindset. 2, the business, set up the business. 3, get the house. 4, marketing. But what about the day-to-day operations? So I've got you on the day-to-day operations. Operations, intake, setting expectations and the house rules, common challenges. There's the ways to collect rent. So collecting rent, you can write this down if you have your notebook and your pen. There are different ways to collect the rent and they're at different levels of risk. So the most risky is private pay. Private pay is the most risky. Less risky than that is a family member pays you. So if the family member is going to pay you, have them co-sign the lease. Have the family member co-sign the lease, get their contact information as well. So that way, the family member is usually more concerned about having an eviction on their record than the person who you're housing. So it's less risky if you have a family member who's also co-signing the lease and agreeing to pay you every month. Excuse me. Ugh, that cough. And then also you can use a tenant management system, which I talk about in the next step. Actually, I use Rent Ready, and you can have them set up auto pay. So you always get paid on time. Okay, so there was private pay, most risky, then family member pays, and then representative payee. Write that down, representative payee. You can have your residents sign up with a representative payee company that is the go-between between you and them, and they are guaranteed to pay you. They pay you. They make sure that they pay you every month. You have to do your own research. We don't have time on this call to look into all of these steps. But again, in my personal coaching program, we deep dive into every single step. And then the next step up from rep payee is you become the representative payee, which means that you're the one who's signing into the Social Security system. You are now the person receiving that person's funds, and you pay the rent with part of it and give them their allowance with the other part. Excuse me. And then the least risky is getting paid directly from a sponsoring organization. I have had that before as well. So there are organizations that are nonprofits that receive grant money from the state or from federal, and they will pay for that person. Sometimes they'll pay for 3 months or pay for 6 months, maybe even a year, but they'll pay for that person to stay in your house, and they usually pay lump sum upfront. And remember, you're in charge of what payments you accept. So if you don't want to accept cash, don't accept cash. If you don't want to accept any private pay, don't accept any private pay because it's very risky. So like I said, I use a tenant management system called Rent Ready. They have auto pay feature. They have payment reminders. And I've already documented all of my operations, house rules, intake questionnaire, lease, house sign. So paying for a shortcut would be signing up for group home on autopilot, where I hand over all that stuff to you. So now you've got the house open, you filled the beds, you're pocketing money every month. So now what? We need to turn it into this well-oiled machine, and we need to scale it. So now let's get to the apex of the pyramid. Let's get to the autopilot stuff and what makes group home on autopilot different from every other group home training that's out there. So let's go to the next slide. And let's double check. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is where you start scaling. So once you get through all of those hard knocks and the learning curve of your first house, you fill it, and then you're ready for the next one. But how do you put all of your systems in place so you can run it remotely? You hire another you hire an operations manager. So in my program, I teach you what to look for in an operations manager. Okay, wait. Let's see. Okay, I see some questions coming in that I'm going to address as soon as I'm done with this slide right here. Okay. Um, okay, how do you do this remotely? Okay, hire the operations manager. So I teach you what to look for in an operations manager, how to find them, how to train them, and how to pay them. And then the toolkit. So I give you a full list of all the tools that I use and how I integrate them and have them work with each other so that I make this a very easy side hustle for myself. I also share with you what my weekly and my monthly actions are. And I teach you how to handle accounting in a very systemized way as well. So I have covered all the steps to take you from A to Z to open your own profitable group home. This chart right here is all the steps. These are the 6 steps that it takes. Who has gotten something out of this masterclass? I want just one person to tell me something you got out of this masterclass, and then I'm going to go to Q&A. And yeah, I think that's about it. And I want to put in the chat one more time how to book a call with me. Let's see here. For some reason, it's not letting me put my thing in the chat on YouTube. Tyler, if you could put the link in the chat for me, that'd be great. Oh, I see why. I have too many letters in there. Okay. Does RentRedi do background checks? I believe they do. I do not use RentRedi's background check because the person who I hired to be my operations, first of all, when I first started my group home, let me back up. When I first started my group homes, I did not do background checks at all. And you don't have to if you don't want to. I didn't do background checks. I said I take everyone. I take everyone except for registered sex offenders. And everybody was truthful. Everybody who I met was truthful. They weren't a registered sex offender. And if they were, they told me up front they were a registered sex offender. And I said, okay, you can't live here. So I didn't hold it against anybody if they had any evictions on their records or if they had felonies or anything like that. I did not hold it against anybody because my company, Roundtable Living, is a second chance for people. So I just didn't do it. But the operations manager who I hired already had property management experience and already has this background check subscription. So he does do background checks on everybody through not through RentRedi, through this other system. But I do believe that RentRedi has that. RentRedi has a lot of things. Okay. Oh, thank you, Tom. I love how you structure it so it's not overwhelming and overcomplicated. Okay, Tom, I just started making the payee sign a form saying they would be held. Yes, that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do because these people will try to stiff you. Okay. Because people are people. I'm not saying this because these people, like people are people. People will try to get over. Oh, I don't see any Q in. Okay. This one. Okay. That's done. That one's done. That one's done. I'm trying to clear out the Q&As on the Zoom. Okay. All right, let me move on to this next slide. Before I move on, in case anybody missed the first full invitation, I just want to show you again what my program comes with. And please book a call with me if you're interested. This is what my startup intensive comes with. And don't procrastinate. I actually heard a quote the other day from this woman online, Eileen Wilder. She said, procrastination is the assassination of your destination. I was like, oh, okay, Eileen. Procrastination is the assassination of your destination. If you're ready to make a difference and you are ready to get started, just do it. Just do it. Be like my client Kenya, like, I kind of want to do this. I'm just gonna jump in feet first. And now she has this huge house, this about full. Who's tired of procrastinating? You have the link to book the call. You have the link to book the call. The easiest way to help poor people is to not be one of them. Because broke people can't help broke people. That's why I'm like, get a side hustle. Get a side hustle. If this training resonated with you at all, book the call because you need that blueprint. You need strategy, you need systems, you need structure, and you really need that accountability. That's what you need, the accountability. All right, I'm going to go on to Q&A. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Stick around though. I'm going to stay on for a little bit. Maybe 10 more minutes. And let me know what questions you have. Tom is ready. Yes, Tom, I'm ready. I'm ready to work with you. Thank you. I'm ready. I am ready. People say knowledge is what? Knowledge is what? Somebody finish the sentence for me. I don't even know if anybody's still in the room with me because it says said one person this entire time. Thank you. Knowledge is power. But you know what though? It's not just power though. It's knowledge plus execution. It's knowledge plus the execution. That's the power, you know? Knowledge plus execution is power. I used to think if I just had the knowledge, I could do it. But then after stumbling for a while, I did pay for a coach when I started my group home. The only problem was that coach had never opened a group home before. They were going off of a script and they had never opened a group home before. So I learned that pros ask who, not how. Like, who can help me with this? And you need somebody who has been there, done that, still doing it. You need somebody like that to help you through this process because that's the type of person that can help you execute. Because execution beats knowledge every day of the week. Execution beats knowledge. And then the knowledge plus the execution, that's power. That brings you the power. So if you want to go faster and further, you need a coach. You need a coach who's going to get you there. Somebody who's been there and done that, and somebody who's there to help you execute. That's where the power comes in. All right, before I log off of here, I want you to think back to that vision that you had for your life. Remember that those first slides I talked about what's your 1-year vision, what's your 3-year vision, what's your 5-year vision for your life? Because I want to help you get there. And how would $2,000 a month for the rest of your life extra, how would that help you to reach your goals in life? And then you'll probably want to have more than one house. I know people who have like 15 houses. I'm really happy with my 3, but I know people who have like 15 houses going. And that's a lot of money. You can definitely fire your day job with that. All right, if you're still here in the class with me, then something is resonating with you. So book the call, use the link that was put in the chat. And if you do decide to invest in the coaching and invest in yourself, I will throw in a special little bonus, which I'll tell you about on the sales call. So thank you for joining my party tonight. I really appreciate you. And I'll probably be back on here next week, Thursday. So take care of yourself. If you're still here, I think I'll stay on for about 6 more minutes, but just hanging out. All right, bye. Have a good night.